Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Normally I start off with some miscellaneous topics, and build into it because sometimes you all take a while to join on to the live and so on, but not today, not tonight. In the words of Jack Warner, not tonight. Paula May Weeks, you getting it special. You have it special on douglAR Politics because you were the substantive meat of the matter that I come to talk about tonight. But I starting it one time. I'm sorry for those who miss out. If those who come on late, douglAR Politics, Archie, we always start on time. But tonight, Paula May Weeks, the fire belongs to you. Let me start and tell you why, Paula May Weeks. Because you're a bully. Paula May Weeks, you are a disgusting bully. Because you use your throne, your bully pulpit, and use decades, centuries of convention and parliamentary behavior and decorum in order to stand there in the parliament. How ironic. Where you could give your speech and no one could retort, no one could reply, just like those that you sat next to, the presiding officers who constantly thwart the minority, thwart the opposition, stymie motions of interest, of public import, of national interest. You stood there on your bully pulpit while all the media and the entire country was listening, knowing full well that nobody could question you, nobody could argue with you, nobody could debate your whatever you presented or the concepts that you have in your warped mind. You are a bully, lady. But let me tell you something, bully only for a time, because you can't bully the douglAR and douglAR Politics. So here it is, come down from there in your purple dress, Madam President, with your fake accent and your fake intellect and your fake ethics and your fake position and your fallacious attitude, your hypocrisy, and you are a total disgrace to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm going to go through in detail why you are the worst human being who has ever held the office of President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You used and you climbed on the backs of former presidents like Noor Hassan Ali, man of class, impeccable Trini to the bone, a man without a divisive cell in his body, a man who loved his country and was patriotic, upheld the Constitution and the law every moment, held himself above the fray. You stood on his back to bully parliamentarians, to attack people wrongfully, to give your hypocritic speech, throne speech, as if you are some czar. Well, you are no czar. You are a disgrace to scholarship winners, a disgrace to women in Trinidad and Tobago. You are a disgrace to judges, to lawyers, to all presidents who came before. You, my lady, are a total disgrace to all patriotic citizens who love this country. Who the hell are you to tell me about patriotism? The only time you feel you patriotic is when you get Rowley to appoint you as president and you get special branch and drive around in fancy car and go in a special plantation house and they call you president and everybody ball your excellency. That is when you get patriotic. What the hell you ever do for Trinidad before that? You're a judge, they pay you. You lecture you wouldn't, you get salary. I suffer and put my heart and soul for this country for free, whether as an athlete, a swimmer, a footballer, and a coach, never getting a cent from the government, having created Olympic champions, Olympic medalists, world record holders, and children who moved on to be great representatives and ambassadors for this country over a 35-year period. And you could tell me about patriotism? Woman, hold your tail. You're fast and out of place. Who are you? What are you? And what have you done? And in the short stint that you have been there, you have dragged the flag from the highest to the lowest. You've dragged it through the gutter and dumped it in the latrine by your disrespect of the Constitution, your inability to separate your friendship and your personal relations from the job and the office that you have. You have divided this country along with Rowley, and you come to preach to us. You come to bully us. I and all had to stop, but I'm sorry, I shouldn't have stopped David Nackett from walking out on you, because the convention, the respect, the normal feelings that we had been taught over the years manifested itself in my discipline, that even though you were making the most hypocritical, idiotic speech on God green earth, that I was to hold discipline. I had to sit there. I had to stop my colleague from walking out, even though it was the most drivel that we have ever heard from a woman who has no standing whatsoever to preach to anyone. I thought of my mother in that time. Yes, and you would know my mother, Patricia Antoinette Roberts, the lady in the sari, the lawyer who, before, when you were a lawyer and a law student, you would have had some interaction with, and then when you were a high court judge, you would have interacted with her. She would have been so ashamed of you to know that you, who knows full well inside and out the Constitution, that you who breached it, you could stand there and dictate to others who had broken no law, who had not breached the Constitution, who had not misbehaved in public office, who had not shown partisan politics when you are in a position to be above the fray. You dive down in the political guile to jump in as a PNM, as a Bishop's Tea Party, and have the audacity to use your bully pulpit to bully people who are serving their country and serving their constituents in a manner that was unbecoming, unresearched, puerile, simplistic, and idiotic. The most idiotic speech I've ever heard. I didn't know one human being could talk so much nonsense in 16 minutes. And this was foretold, you know. Dinesh Rambali foretold this, because before you made that speech, Dinesh Rambali on douglAR Politics on Saturday, 2.5 days before you open your mouth to embarrass yourself, this is what he said. Remind them, Archie.
I have nothing against the president personally. Likewise, I'm sure I'm confident in saying same thing for you. I congratulate and commend. I know she's coming to the ceremonial opening on Monday to address parliamentarians. But I want to say to the public and to Her Excellency, true citizens, what you have done here, you are commended on this occasion of putting out a release with expedition, with alacrity, to ensure that that nonsense that the Attorney General said, that go check the president and go and talk to Ramesh, that was dispelled outright. If, Anil, if that kind of alacrity and diligence was displayed by the head of state, Her Excellency Miss Paula May Weeks, on the occasion of when the Prime Minister went to your office and interfered with that list from the Police Service Commission, this country would not have that kind of crime rate that we are experiencing now. We would have had a substantive commissioner in that position, and we would have had some kind of leadership of the police force. Ma'am, you failed miserably on that occasion, and I will justify that time and time again. If that kind of alacrity that we see now, which I commend you for, was initiated or injected when Prime Minister Rowley went and interfered with that list, Anil, we would be seeing a lower crime rate here.
Well, so that's Dinesh Rambali, and each and every one of you who have known me. I've been on radio since 1997, on TV since 2004, and I'm minister from 2010 to 2014 August. And I've been a senator, UNC senator, activist, douglAR Politics right here. You all know that I don't ever bring a president into any discussion. You all know that I leave the president because, whether correctly, rightly, or wrongfully, I believe stupidly in the conventions, in the office, in the respect. But when these people come now and they have desecrated the flag, desecrated the the office and trampled on the memories of those who sat in this position, it hurts me, but I have to, because I will not be bullied by a hypocritical woman who took the Constitution, crumpled it up with Keith Christopher Rowley, stamped on it, danced on it with her muddy shoes, and spat on it. I will not sit there and take that. Fire burn you, woman. You out of place. You out of order. You are a disgrace. People deserve better. Yes, Paula May Weeks, they don't deserve you, Miss Bishop's Tea Party. Give TNT hope. Yes, you give us hope. Resign because you drag the flag. Stop your selfishness. Selfish. I don't know about them. But when all the blood, sweat, and tears that I put for my country help and to assist the amount of people across the board, whether in sport, in coaching, in charity, as an MP, as a minister, as a senator, working and trying to help people without anything, without any thank you, without any praise. You who sit down and drink tea, eat scones, and your diet alone is more, it could feed about 20 people per day. The amount of food and things they spend on you, the gas you just burn with all the big cars burning and zooming all over the place. 118 million to refurbish a plantation house. Everything, you have a function, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. And you talking about other people selfish? Woman, check your fast self. Well, let's go through it now. If you feel I done with you, lady, I go in clearly, cogently, slowly. And this is her speech. This is her entire speech as printed in the newspaper. So let's start. Address delivered by Paula May Weeks, President, at the ceremonial opening of the third session. Number one, she said, Parliament exists for the primary purpose of making laws for the peace, order, and good government of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, it does. And the Constitution exists, which originally came, the Republican Constitution, which created the office of President, was created to ensure that all other laws, all institutions come from that document, the sacred Constitution. And section 123(4) of that Constitution states that the President shall, on receipt of a merit list, in order to ensure, the concept was, in order to ensure the independence of the police service, the separation of powers, natural justice, the justice system, and democracy, that the TTPS, the police service, must remain independent. So the framers of the Constitution put in section 123(4) because a president is supposed to be impartial, above the partisan fray, and not influenced by any politician. Why? Because a society and a democracy depends on justice, fairness, equity, and the application of laws. And the people, or the person who's in charge of the service, who implements and has the power to arrest and take away the freedoms of others, is the Commissioner of Police. That's why the Constitution created the entire Independent Police Service Commission, that you went and appoint your friend and them who you went to school with and who was also on PNM board simultaneously. You did that, creating the conditions that were rife for the abuse of the Constitution by Keith Rowley, and by you forcing Bliss Sipasad to withdraw a list that was duly, legally, and legitimately, after hours, a merit list. You, lady, took merit and threw it in the toilet, upholding partisan politics, friendships, and relationships, because you thwarted the Constitution, the concept, the convention, the idea of the Constitution, the idea of democracy. Back in 1961, before we were a Republican Constitution, when we had our first Constitution, the one element in Marlborough House that the colonial powers did not give the PNM was the ability to appoint and control the police service, because back then in 1961 they knew about the importance of an independent police service, but not you. You allowed Rowley to influence you. You knew better than anybody in this country that section 123(4) said that once you receive that list, you shall, you have no discretion, no time, no delay, no question, no investigative power, no ability to thwart or change. You shall send it to the Parliament. But you allowed this miscreant, this Landate, this Renaissance, this Greenvale, this email gate liar to come and shoo in your ears, influence you against what you knew was right. You got involved in partisan politics. You were biased and you were influenced by this man, and you told your friend who you had appointed, who had the chairmanship of the Police Service Commission because of her relationship with you at Bishop's, you told her to withdraw the list illegally, illegitimately, wrongfully, and you admitted that in your statement from the office of the president, and you come to tell me and to tell other parliamentarians that we must uphold the law and we kicks in. If we kicks in, what you doing? Because we didn't breach any constitutional arrangement. We did not ensure that the PNM and the politicians could control the police service. We did not ensure that a man who did not even apply, and the last time that he applied for the job, finished 6th, is now holding the job. We didn't do that. We did not take merit and throw it away. You did, ma'am. You are disgusting, and you stand there to try to bully people because you have the protection of your throne speech. Fire burn you. You're a total flipping disgrace. She then said, lower down, Parliament is the fountainhead of the laws that affect the man and the woman in the street. Number one, what you know about the man and woman in the street? When is it last time you was a man and a woman in the street? You sit down there and tell me to fix up. You tell this one to spend 118 million. Noel Garcia spend it. Fix up a slave house, a plantation house. And while people suffering, no have no textbook, no laptop, no food, you tell people you will organize a tour for the people, the man on the street, to come and see the luxury with which you have been taken care of. Something is wrong with you. Even the dance you do on the esplanade to the pan shows a sort of like you and the Queen used to lime. When have you understood the man on the street? When were you done with the man on the street? How many men and women in the street you meet with every day? How many hampers you go and sit down and give out? How many children you see with that smelling stink because they didn't have soap to bathe and you have to buy Protex for them? How many? Who the hell are you? Every day MPs and politicians are out there on the ground dealing with some of the saddest things. When you see Victor Roberts going around watching, going in the bush and seeing children living in a shack in the bush with snake and gator and thing all around them, Cayman. You are saying that Victor Roberts is selfish? Parliamentarians, the MP for Naparima, seeing children in abject poverty, a child wearing the same diaper for 2 days. You come to attack them? Who the hell are you, woman? Eat your scones and drink your tea and hush your mouth. She continued, as is every insult, put down, and falsehood which contributes to the negative perception of what should be an esteemed and respected institution. To the average citizen, sittings of Parliament see more opportunities for finger pointing. Really? Who's the number one liar in parliamentary history in the Commonwealth? This clown, this fool, this email gate liar who appointed you. and you sat down with him, how did he find out that the merit list was coming by you? How did you take a meeting with him for him to whisper in your ears? So the big parliamentary liar with Emailgate, who called a motion of no confidence in a sitting prime minister, an hour and 15 minutes stood up and lied. The things weren't in emails. And you supporting that and come to preach and lecture to me and other parliamentarians? The lying Emailgate clown went in your ears to tell you that he had some evidence of something which he did not have, and force you to breach the Constitution, and you come to preach and lecture to us? Woman, check yourself before you wreck what little of yourself is left, woman. You disgrace. She said, the average citizen sees sittings of parliament, see more opportunities for finger pointing, gallerying and kicking than for the conscientious making of laws that would directly affect and improve lives. Really? Myself, let me talk for myself. How many times in the last 2 years I would have contributed? At least 20 times, an average of 30 minutes, of which a lot of it, as we've shown here on douglAR Politics, from since we are talking about the economic conditions and the prescriptions of the IMF, discussing details and bills, and really getting down into the aspects of the bills and the clauses that impact the lives of citizens. You just ignore all of that, all Wade Mark, all Jolene John, all sorts of debates that go in, and you lump it and say, oh, everybody kicks in. Who the hell are you to say that? Is there finger pointing and picking? Of course, that is part and parcel of Parliament. But 90% of what is done, every point that is made, the opposition does not oppose. You take this position, this PNM position, that we oppose for opposing's sake. Whatever bill we oppose based on the rights and freedoms of people, of citizens, some who may never be able to afford an attorney like you, who will never have the money to come before you as a high court judge. Who are you to just cast aspersions without information, without research, without presenting any factual basis? You sound just like Rowley. She continued, Parliament and its members have long been objects of public derision. Yes, maybe so. When you get into public life, that's part and parcel of it. That's all right, especially in a system like created by Dr. Williams, where we have the racial political divide, and politics, you have to be able to take pong, hit pikong, no big thing. And people will always, politicians are easy targets. That's part for the course. But who the hell are you to talk about what derision have been objects of public derision? You, my lady, if you have not been on the ground, the country laughs at you. They call you the sleeping bear. They want to know where you wake up from slumber. They want to know what you just do, where you come out from, how much food you just eat, what is your purpose, why they paying you a salary. You are the only president in history that the entire population, PNM, UNC and independent, has laughed at you when you call an Independence Day function and you have 27 African and 5 Indian, and you talk about racial divide and pressures, when you don't invite the leader of the opposition and the members of the opposition to National Independence Day awards or national awards invited by you. Lady, you are the biggest joke in Trinidad and Tobago. So being a politician, part and parcel. As long as you're a politician, half don't like you and half will love you. That start off so. And then you try to convince those based on policies, on programs, on performance, on work ethic. Those who don't like red or yellow, you try to convince them. That is politics. You could be the most celebrated athlete in Trinidad and Tobago. You could be the most beloved. And as soon as you jump on red or yellow, half the country, voting population don't like you. That's part of the course. That's politics in Trinidad and Tobago. But normally when you're the president, you are above that. And the country starts off loving you. The country starts off respecting you. Red, yellow, anything. They love and respect. The whole country laughing at you. Maybe some PNM sycophant might say, yes, girl, you go, girl. Come and drink tea. Good for you. But you are the worst president in the history of our republic since 1976. The worst. She continued. Citizens want parliamentarians to put aside selfish agenda and work to secure the welfare and well-being of all. You are the vanguard of upholding the democracy. Yes, we are. And you are saying that all the points that we make in the opposition, whether it is the TTRA, that Rowley and the politicians should not be able to appoint the board to go into people's taxes and appoint all of the members and the HR and so on. And when we debate the anti-gang legislation, which no one has been charged with, which could take away the rights of the poor man, especially who can't afford big-time intellectual lawyers like you once were and so on, and they get their rights abused. We are in the parliament to protect all, from the poorest, from those children who got 0 on SEA to the scholarship winners. Where were you when the scholarships were taken away from merit? 500 scholarships down to bursaries because you have to get someone to like you in the PNM to get a bursary. Well, you agree with that because to get a job from you, to get appointed by you, to a commission appointed by you, or independent senators appointed by you, somebody had to know you. You have to have a relationship with them. Somehow, a lot of them were your friends. You are a disgrace, lady. That is selfish, lady. You only know bishops. What about Naparima girls? St. Joseph Convent, Barakpur Senior Comp, Shagwana Senior Sec, Matlat Secondary. You don't have people from there who could serve in positions that you are appointed. You are the most myopic, nepotistic president in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and you come to bully us because we can't respond in the parliament. We weren't allowed to parley. You come to dictate with your stupidness. She continued. The respect, trust, and confidence that once characterized the relationship between parliamentarian and John Q. Public have been squandered and whittled away, leaving little but disregard, suspicion, doubt, and the capabilities and motives of those elected. What about those selected? Huh? What about those selected? What about you? You were selected. And at the onset, everybody said, good character, good lady, good Court of Appeal judge, intelligent scholarship winner, Hugh Wooding, lecturer, go forth. And you move from that position of unanimous support, 100% red, yellow, everybody support you, to the position now that you is a flipping PNM. You is not even a good normal PNM like Hassel Bacchus. You is a nasty, disgusting, lying PNM like Rowley. You see, lady, what you're going to say? Do you think I take pleasure in this? You are the president. You don't deserve that office. You're not worthy of that office. You're not worthy of being called the president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You're a total disgrace. She continued. Your selfish agenda and work to secure put aside your selfish agenda and work to secure the welfare and well-being of all. You are the right. None of this can be achieved if the starting point is ugly party politics or tit-for-tat partisan agenda. If unnecessary contention, the exchange of wild accusations and insults, and abrupt withdrawals are the order of the day, how and when will the people's business be conducted? Really? You have two presiding officers who, when you check every debate, when you count and you count every time they interrupt, and you check the fairness and the equity in the parliament, you would see that it is heavily skewed against the minority, against the opposition, against the people. When motions are brought to discuss COVID-19 as a national serious public importance issue, it's denied. What say you about that? Crime, denied. Economic disaster, denied. Energy, denied. Point Lisas, denied. Water, no water. Only 16% of people getting water, denied. You have nothing to say about that because you uphold that. They sat at your left side and the right side. Back when Jesus was being crucified, to his left side was a bandit and to his right side was a bandit. Not to say that you was Jesus. The day before had 3 bandits. You understand? The day before Jesus went up on the cross, the day before that, they had 3 bandits on 3 crosses. And you are talking about that? Why don't you talk about that? Well, especially when you know the Westminster system is such that the first past the post system that we have, because your party, the PN, yes, I say your party, don't stand back and say, don't pretend you are independent. You're not a UNC. It's your party. You know why I could say it's your party? Because you allowed the PNM Prime Minister, a member of the executive, to come to the office of the President on August 11, 2021, and you did not tell him, fire burn, you get out of here. You took his meeting, you listened to him, and then you took action being influenced by the PNM Prime Minister to thwart the Constitution. That's a serious thing. That's showing love and passion for the PNM, for the Balizé. That's clear, cogent evidence, because no one could ever make the argument that you did not know. That does not apply to you. You are a constitutional scholar. You taught it, you lectured it, you taught law students for years about constitutional law. So that argument does not hold water with you. Someone else, you could have said, well, they didn't know. They wasn't sure. They should have known. They didn't understand section 123. Not you. You understood fully. And you were so beholden and close and so influenced by the PNM Prime Minister that you thwarted it. You broke the law. And now Trinidad and Tobago is suffering from the worst crime scourge in our history. No one feels safe, whether it's PNM, UNC or other. No woman, no child, no family, no grandfather. Nobody feels safe. Nobody feels safe going to PriceMart or the grocery. Nobody feels safe going to the pharmacy. Nobody feels safe walking or exercising in their neighborhood. Nobody feels safe walking to the market. Nobody feels safe driving in the car. Nobody feels safe lying by the river or by the beach. Nobody feels safe because of you. Because from your direct thwarting of the Constitution, you led to the meritless being thwarted. It's not about Gary and Harry and Barry. It's about pure merit. Sport, for example, is about merit. You train the hardest, you're genetically gifted, you work, you're mentally tough. They say take your marks, you run, you win the race. You don't take 6th place. Let somebody shoo-shoo in your ear, the referee. Shoo-shoo in your ear and say, well, we really want 6th place to win, and then you as the upholder, the juror in the appeals process of the race, of the competition, you then disqualify the top 5? No, Madam President, we don't do that. Merit. The entire world is based on merit. Our children are taught study hard. And you will merit your qualifications, merit your scholarship, merit your advancement, and therefore merit your higher salary because of the work that you did. You thwarted merit. You put partisan politics above merit, above the Constitution, above justice, above democracy, above fairness, above equity, and above the safety of the people that you say you care about. Since you took that decision, over 584 citizens have been murdered. Bandits are roaming the streets with Uzis, with silencers, man riding in car and killing man driving by, walking into bar while man sipping rum and coke, rum and soda, and getting shot, and the man ball out, they walk back in and eat more corn, all after your thwarting of the Constitution. And you come to tell us to be patriotic, to not be selfish, and to think about the people. What people you thinking about? Woman, fire burn you in the hottest of hell. She continued, your inability or refusal to work together for the common good. What? First of all, the Westminster system is an adversarial system. And if anybody has refused to work together for the common good, COVID-19, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Lakram Bodo, Tim Gopi Singh, all the doctors on the UNC side went to Keith Rowley and said, let us help, let us work together. This pandemic, which you, President, said was a pandemic and it was a national crisis, but the PNM said, fire on that, we go do what we want, and 4,200 citizens are dead. The economy is shattered because Rowley refused to listen, and you come to give blame both sides when it was the crime scourge, the economic disaster, and any and every item that Kamala Prasad Bisesa presented ideas to Rowley. Rowley refused and said that, in the words of Shampa Kujo, who I must say looked bigger than you on that day. You all go in a competition for heavyweight, but that's all right, that's all the business. Shampa Kujo said, we are in charge now, and we will be in your face and in your place like a Jambi from Lekoto. Lekoto, remember that? The government is in charge. Don't come and talk to the opposition in a Westminster first past the post system where the opposition has no power to do anything, where the opposition is thwarted by presiding officers sitting at your left and right, and we are not even allowed to debate. Disgraceful. You could not even be honest as you stood there. You promised to bear true faith and allegiance, says this lady, you know. Listen to what this lady telling we. You promised to bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago, uphold the Constitution and the law, and conscientiously and impartially discharge the responsibilities to the people of Trinidad and Tobago upon which you have entered. You made solemn and significant promises to the nation, promises that you are duty bound to keep and hold in high regard. No dispute or grievance should ever take precedence over your oath and role as parliamentarians and servants of the public. What oath you took? What oath did you take that allowed you to allow Keith Rowley to come by you, to sit down by you, to shoo in your ears, present you with no evidence, and force you to breach the law, the Constitution, Section 123(4), and thwart a merit list that now has the country reeling under the pain of criminal activity? What oath you took, woman? Which one? Which curtain you was wearing that day when you took your oath? You come in the parliament with a purple curtain to shout down at us? Not me. Fire burn you. These chambers are not a venue for partisanship. Well, the office of the president is not a venue for partisanship. How did Rowley get in there? Who allowed him in there? How did he get to your ear? How did he get to shoo? How did you take him on? How did you call Blissy Prasad? How did you tell her to come back and withdraw a list that you could not do? Why did you breach your authority? Your office is not a venue for partisanship. The parliament is. It's designed that way. Government opposition. You don't even know what you're talking about. The one true bipartisan endeavor, patriotism, according to former American politician Adlai Stevenson, is not a short and frenzied outburst of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. Who are you? What lifetime you dedicated to Trinidad and Tobago? What? You studied for yourself, you did very well, you did well for yourself, you got good jobs, and then you reach up to the president for yourself, to enjoy yourself, and to be by yourself. Help no one. I'm happy for you. You don't have to help anybody. But you can't sit down on a throne and then talk to people like David Nakid, who played football for Trinidad and Tobago from the age of 10 years old till 40 years old. Taking kick, no money, if money, injured, swell ankle, battling for the red, white, and black, for pride, for all of us. You could tell he about patriotism, and it's a lifetime. You only now swearing your national service begin with luxury, with nothing to do, with sojourn. Look, you're going to see the Queen funeral, first class, security, best of the best. That's your national service? Look, lady, give me a chance, yes? It therefore involves commitment, focus, selflessness, resolve, passion, cooperation, values that promote peace, order, and good governance. She continued this speech. I tell all you, taking my time, you know. Because she thought she have all the time to bully us because we can't say nothing in the ceremonial opening of Parliament. All the media, the whole country is just listening to she. Well, now the whole country listening to me. And now they're all watching you and they're waiting for you to resign. Since you're so selfless, since Trinidad and Tobago is so important, since you are so patriotic, now faced with the facts of the derision that is being brought on you, the disrespect that you have laid on the red, white, and black, will you do the honorable thing and resign? Would you be patriotic and resign? Would you show the decorum and the selflessness to show that Trinidad and Tobago and our reputation is much more important than your position? Would you resign? All the talk you talk, take your vacuous words and put them where your scones sit home in your refrigerator. She said, these chambers are not venue for partisanship, but for patriotism which transcends cultural, racial, and political bounds. The one true bipartisan endeavor. Patriotism, according to Adlai Stevenson. As we continue to grapple with the ever-present ills, hear this now. The ever-present, not that it get worse under the PNM, under she boy Rowley and the PNM, that she seems to be giving a free pass all the time. Hear what she's saying, Now remember, in our system, the government, whoever first passed the post, them in charge of everything. Opposition can do nothing but talk, dissect, and hope somebody listen. But listen to she. The ever-present ills of crime, no. Crime is ever present, yes, but the levels of the crime scourge now, especially since August 11, 2021, has increased the rates and fear factor never before seen levels. Crime is always there, yes, but no, not this intensity and level of crime with impunity across the entire nation, across every nook and cranny, never before seen. Crime and criminality. Racism, correct. Racism always exists. But racism over the last 7 years and division and racist tantamount policies and speeches and Indian Arrival Day and disrespect to the Hindu community, to communities that vote UNC, disrespect to East Indians at Diwali from ministers of the sitting government, that has been exacerbated by Keith Rowley, open fire discrimination, river closure discrimination, doubles and roti attack, all by Rowley, by your boy who shoo in your ears. So talk where you talk to who you should talk to. This country was not as divided under Patrick Manning. This country was not as divided under Kamla Prasad Bisesa. This country was not as divided under Bastio Pandey. This country was not as divided under A.N.R. Robinson. This country was not as divided under George Chambers. You notice I did not say Dr. Williams, because Dr. Williams is the original divider. Rowley has just taken it to a new level, aided and abetted by you. Unemployment. Where the unemployment come from, madam? From the PNM government's lack of policy, their shattering of the economy. And you come to sing the PNM hymn book to tell us about COVID-19. The economy was shattered from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 into 2020. COVID only reached March, April 2020. Over 103,000 people lost jobs before that. The Patriotism was closed down before COVID. ArcelorMittal closed down before COVID. The gas price negotiation by Rowley and Smallpin was before COVID. 11 companies that closed down after their negotiation was before COVID. They shut down and stopped the construction sector before COVID. Food price inflation was going up before COVID. People were suffering before COVID. You come about COVID to make excuse for Rowley, who could shoo in your ears? The environmental disaster, flooding like never before seen. As it rained, the whole country down to Goodwood Park is lagoon. All of this is the incompetence of the government, incompetence of the first past the post, incompetence of the prime minister, incompetence of the minister, incompetence of the cabinet, incompetence of the PNM. But you come to talk there and cast a blame as if it's equal on everybody. And finally, she said, a collaborative effort by the members of these noble houses. After all, this is what proper representation is about. Whether in government, opposition, or independent as parliamentarians, you appoint a set of PNM independent senators which vote into gut procurement and legalized thieving must get at least 1 or 2 votes with the PNM in the Senate. And you are talking about that, talking about debate, collaborative approach, when Rowley and Shamfa and the PNM said they are in control, they are in charge, and we must take it. Now you trying to know that them fail and try to get us to take some of the blame when Kamala has put many solutions across in health, education. They shut down she laptop program, shut down she investment in education, shut down Tim Gopi thing, shut down sport, shut down everything. Them in charge. But you can't blame them. Why? You like them. And let me put up an image there. Someone put this up on Facebook. Paula May Weeks, and read this and understand this. Paula May Weeks boldly endorses and articulates Keith Rowley and the PNM's misguided rhetoric. If you don't support the PNM, you are unpatriotic. Read that again, Paula May Weeks, because that is what you are saying. You are trying to say that the opposition, if we don't support any nonsense, that Faris a la Duns a la Rari a la Johnny Sukaran, the biggest dunderhead to ever pass through law school, the amount of bad law that he brought that the court shut down. You were the court of a high court judge, and you know the nonsense and all of the judges and all the laws that Al-Rawi brought that was shut down in the court. The UNC were making those points in the parliament and in the Senate, and you are saying that we were unpatriotic for being correct? Woman, something is wrong with you. When we make points, they are valid points, and 99% of the time they've been upheld against the PNM. But we must collaborate with stupidity to be patriotic based on your account of patriotism. Miss Just Come, drive wrong in limousine. Woman, catch yourself. You're falling. And if you fall, you can't get up. But look who would support. Who do you all think would support this after I've just gone through that forensic analysis, okay? Let's go to the Guardian editorial the day after this woman talked that nonsense and tried to bully all away. The president's words of wisdom, says the Guardian. Tuesday, September 13, 2022. Tell all the Guardian of PNM, the Guardian of Rowley, the Guardian of nonsense, the Guardian of stupidity, the Guardian of dictatorship. Here the Guardian. President Paula May Weeks spared no punches as she zoned in on the behavior of parliamentarians during yesterday's ceremonial start to the 3rd session of the 12th Parliament. Well, Guardian, what we should do is go in Golden Grove, and anybody who has been convicted and sentenced for murder and violence, especially multiple murders and things, get them to come out and make a speech to tell the citizens how to behave good and not to cuff down people. Because that's what you are saying. Who is this woman to throw punches at whom? She don't even live in a glass house. She house have walls of air, walls of oxygen and nitrogen and carbon dioxide. She not in no glass house. At least glass, you have to pelt the stone hard to break it. Where she is, the stone going through, whoosh. And you supporting that Guardian, this woman, Okay, Guardian, let's say the president reminded parliamentarians that they're the vanguards of democracy and people expect them to put aside selfish agendas. So you didn't expect, Guardian, her to put aside whatever agenda and do her job under the Constitution and the law. She could do what the hell she want. Upheld by you, the Guardian. We share the president's view. We know you must share the president's view. Use PNM. You share the president's view. You share Rowley view. You share Email Gate view. You share Delcy Gate view. You share any view. You share whatever. Merit list gone. Bursary gone. Scholarship gone. Children suffer. Anything PNM you share. You must share the president's view. That the people of Trinidad and Tobago expects and deserves a lot better. Yes. Especially from the media. Because this nonsense, this dastardly, disrespectful, corrupt writing that you continue to portray all of the mass media has people like this still standing there with arrogance to give throne speeches because they will not be held accountable by the mass media and the journalists. They will just be spoon-fed by Rowley and print as news what Rowley say from the office of the Prime Minister. That's what the people deserve better from the media. Our democracy is dead and we're in this dictatorship because the mass media is corrupt and all the shareholders make money based on partisan politics and they use this to uphold wrongdoers and not get to the truth. So Guardian, we expect you agree with this dodo head. We hope the parliamentarians not only heard the president but truly listened. Number one, I heard, I listened, I analyzed, and I find her wanting. I find that she's out of place. She is idiotic. She's puerile. Her arguments were silly. They were not based on any information. They were emotive and they were partisan and politically tainted. So I listened because I had to. I was forced to. I was held captive by the bully. We note that Her Excellency, not for the first time, had to caution individuals who should be role models, but instead have set the worst examples for the people who elected them. And even worse, children perhaps aspiring to hold such offices in the future. So all the children must aspire to be this, to be an intelligent human being, an expert in a field, and let somebody, because of partisan politics or personal relationship, make them do the wrong thing. And when they do the wrong thing, they act arrogantly, stay silent, and then they come out like Pontius Pilate to tell others to do right. That's what you want your children to be, Guardian? Well, not my children, I can tell you that. Let us hope that the parliamentarians now fully understand the awesome responsibility they have to play in the nation building. And if they don't, that the population will stand up and let them know the matter. But the population has already stood up against the mass media. Your circulation is down from a high of 17,000 down to 12,000. The Express is down from 89,000 to 55,000 papers per day. The Newsday is down from a high of 49,000 to about 9,000 papers per day. The people have spoken and they found the mass media wanting. Guardian, you all are the guardian of Rowley's dictatorship. You all are the guardian of wrongdoing. You all are the worst journalists in the history of the Caribbean. And the mass media in Trinidad and Tobago is not the fourth estate, it's the fourth rental unit. So fire burn you, Guardian. So Paula May Weeks, in summary, and let me see. Archie, I think I went quite long on her. Wow. Archie, I nearly went an hour on Paula May Weeks. I'll go through the rest of the show very quickly. So Paula May Weeks, next time you think that you could use your position, historic convention, protocol, pomp and ceremony, throne speech, where no one could respond to attack and bully others, catch yourself. You are a disgrace. I had a lot of respect for you at some point in time. I did. I respect your intelligence. National scholarship winner, I'd always, you had to have discipline, stick-to-itiveness, work ethic. You had to be very intelligent to get that. You were a good lawyer, lecturer, Court of Appeal judge, well, I thought so. I had to go and read all your judgment and things. But overall, my perception was that you're upstanding Court of Appeal judge. You're the worst president in the history of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Your speech yesterday came from a place that it could not have come from. You stand on sand. You have no foundation to dictate to anyone how they should comport themselves or their patriotism or how they work or what they should do in trying to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place. The blood of Trinbagonians is flowing throughout the streets across this country because of you. Because you breached this constitution and the law. Because you misbehaved in public office along with Keith Christopher Rowley and Bliss C. Prasad. And you thwarted a merit list. And you continue to uphold the thwarting of merit. Even in your national awards, the stupidity, you could see it's P&M flavored. So, Madam Paula Mayweeks, there's only one thing left for you to do. Take your own advice. Stand up in front of the mirrors that the taxpayers paid for in the plantation house for 118 million. Make sure the servants that you have shine it to a pristine, clear picture. Take your speech, speak with your fake British accent, and read your own speech to yourself. And when you're finished, sign your resignation and save our nation from the disgrace that you are. Archie, I'm gonna drink some water. And this. Now, Archie, tragedy at Monas Island. A young boy drowned. A young boy who goes to Fatima condolences to his family and friends. But this just exacerbates the point that governance policy is very important and elections have consequences. Kamla Prasad Bissessa, the UNC, had a policy position to ensure that all children 8 years and under would be taught to swim for free. It would be a national priority. It would become mandatory because we live on a twin island state. We spoke about this, Archie. Show them and let them know. Because it pains me to know that a life is lost so senselessly. I'm sorry to say it's senseless. Turtle Bay, Turtle Beach, calm water. One should only drown in that kind of water if you get in an accident, a head bust, a jet ski run over you, a boat, something. You dive in, maybe silly, and you bounce your head on a rock or something. But just to swim and to drown, we have so many ways to die. We don't need to die senselessly. Run it, Archie. I see swimming pool scandal. Residents say closure of Koki and Kuva community facilities is a disgrace. The PNM has for the last 4 or 5 years just closed down swimming facilities across Trinidad and Tobago. The residents, the people, the children have been unable to utilize these facilities. $1 million facilities just going to waste, while the Mamagai people in Lavante and Maloney and built 2 ponds where man could go inside and stand up and so on and say it's world class, but yet the world class facilities are closed from Friday to Sunday. So when people actually going to use these pools, there was a dream and a vision that Kamla Prasad Bissessa had to have every child under the age of 8 learn to swim to become water competent. What would this have done? Number one, it would have dropped dramatically the number of deaths we have in Trinidad and Tobago during our holidays and our celebrations due to drowning. Everybody would be water competent. We live on a twin island state. Then came the PNM. No plan, no idea, no concept. That alone that I spoke about for the swimming between the month of November 20th to January 20th, they could have earned upwards of 2.1 million US pure profit. And all our athletes, all of our children could have utilized that facility for free because that would have been sufficient revenue to run it for the year. We could have also had Chinese coaches coming down to increase and to teach our babies how to dive, the best diving well, the dry dive pit, all that is now crumbling and decaying paying because it's not used, because the PNM has no plan. And now they shut down every pool across Trinidad and Tobago. Kamla Prasad Bisesa wanted to build 34 more 25-meter pools so that every young child in primary school could have been taught to swim. It would have created jobs for coaches, for trainers, for physiotherapists, for psychologists, for those who learn to swim, for those who are there for aquatherapy and so on, providing avenues for a burgeoning industry of aquatic sport brilliance. But yet we have the PNM and all the pools have collapsed. They're green. Frogs, even the aquatic center turned green and had frogs in it because they could not utilize the pumps. They imagine that there's a... So to all parents, please, if you have any children now between 2 and 8, make sure that they learn to swim and they're water competent, please. Food card holders get late top-ups. Food card. The PNM don't take away food card from differently able, from poor people, all kind of things, just to save money to put in the recusal basket. And even those who are left with the food card, that is their food, their sustenance. The PNM put the money in late. It's supposed to be in there at the beginning of the month, middle of the month. It just reach in. That's how they treat poor people. The health minister had swine flu. Well, there's no better flu for the Alsing, for the confund girl than swine flu. That is perfection. But on top of this, for 2.5, nearly 3 years, this man has been in charge of leading the fight against a pandemic, leading about the way in the new normal, how we must act, how we must cover, how we must sneeze, how we must walk, how we must separate, how we must space, how we must wash our hands, all of this. This was the man who every day, he was the one getting the information and he was the one in charge of disseminating the information for us to learn, right? Look how much the Alsing learn from 3 years every day of being taught what to do. Check the intelligence of this man with his swine flu. Watch him.
Rumors of my early demise have been greatly exaggerated. As you could see, I am here alive and well. I did spend some time at the Rima Hospital last week recovering from, not COVID, but swine flu. I got influenza A, H3N2.
Rub it. Whoever come and talk next could get swine flu, you know. That's what they say. They tell you about your elbow and sanitize and all that. Nah, he forget all of that. That's how bright he is. Now listen very careful. Water disruption for South Central. Why? Due to desalination plant repairs. Now hold on. This fellow here, and in his ceremony, he's dressing snazzy, boy. He looking like somebody take the time and design specific suits for him, boy. It look like Eli take some special attention to him. And he not bright. He don't know that pressure that's bus pressure and you can't go up the hill and all of that in the pipe, right? He didn't know that when your air leaks it does break pressure. But he have a Eli kind of effect. Hey, minister, man. Don't play the douglAR, you know. That man, and also MP under attack for Lopino water woes. The Minister of Public Utilities is the Minister of Water. The Minister of Water, his own constituency protesting against water. But we will come to that just now. There's a disruption in water for South and Central Archie. Put back the Minister Monday. Because he and Keith Rowley tried to lie to the population about the desalcut and the desalinated water that was brought by the UNC in 1999. And the PNM increased it and changed the purpose. Since 2002, 24 MIGD a day from desalcut. The PNM put 5 into normal water. delivery and so on, the residential networks. Remember in the Joint Select Committee, before they fire Shepherd, how I caught them all lying on the Salcott, because the Salcott charge, they only charge $1 US per cubic meter, as opposed to the PNM, the company that got a contract from the PNM 7 days before the May 24th election in 2010. They charge the government and WASA $1.80 per cubic meter, and WASA does pay that company 7 Cs Tech bill. The Salcott does pay all the electricity, charge $1, and was profitable to Point Lisas to the tune of $8 per cubic meter profit for WASA. But since the PNM collapsed the energy sector and companies left, and the demand for water in the industrial area went down, the PNM is left wanting. But here what's the worst part? After these lies told by the Minister of Man and Rowley to try to demonize the Salcott, let me read this for you very carefully. Very carefully. Water disruption for South and Central due to desalination plant repairs. Parts of South and Central Trinidad and Tobago are expected, South and Central Trinidad are expected to experience a disruption in their water supply between Tuesday and Thursday. This is because on Sunday, the desalination company, the Salcott, has advised of a 3-day shutdown of the Point Lisas desalination plant to allow for emergency repairs to a leak on the Clearwell header at the facility. Now listen carefully. This PNM clown who dressing up in Ecliffe, Eli now, looking very happy that he's gotten his measurements done very intimately. He and Rowley say, fire burn the Salcott. The Salcott is the reason for WASA and workers have to go. That's the lie they were portraying. Okay. Well, look, the Salcott they have an emergency, they have to fix it. Let's hear the areas that will be affected. The whole country affected by no water from this clong anyway, only 16%, right? So all I could say from reading this is thank God for the Salcott, because here it is. Areas expected to be affected by the repairs include Central, Caroni, Warrenville, Cunupia, Chaguanas, Caparo, Chase Village, Couva, Point Lisas, California, Claxton Bay, Pleasant Park, Pointe-a-Pierre, San Fernando, Vistabella, Marabella, Gasparillo, Southwest Union Hall, Pleasantville, Palm East, Philippine, Duncan Village, Esperance, Gulfview, Bel Air, La Romaine, South Arapuch, Otahiti, Roselac, Ariparo, parts of La Brea, Avocat, Faizabad, parts of Separia, including Digans Village, Quarry Village, San Francisco, Debe, Sign Village, Loki Trace, Sunrise Road, and Mora Dam Road, all going to be affected because the Salcott have to repair something. But these PNM burning fire and lying on the Salcott and not telling you the truth, that is the PNM malfeasance, the PNM mismanagement, the PNM nepotism, the PNM corruption, the PNM stupidity, the PNM lack of maintenance, the PNM lack of infrastructure, the PNM lack of investment that has caused WASA to be in the state that it is in. Not the Salcott. The Salcott giving people water. The Salcott is meant for industrial purposes. These PNM collapsed the industrial sector, but the Salcott still providing the place with clean water. People talking for yesterday that the water dirty and brown. That is because the Salcott shut down. The Salcott water has been tested and pristine. But as soon as this man try to open up and transfer water from different Caroni, WASA treatment plant and so on, people say the water brown because the PNM is incompetent. Elections have consequences and they must stop lying, and the media must call them out on their lies. They're always looking for a scapegoat to blame somebody. If it's not Kamla, it's the Salcott now. Water protest in Public Utilities Minister constituency, and look what he say. People protesting for water across the country, including his own constituency. You know, I might say it as a positive. At least he didn't show nepotism. He let everybody suffer. You understand? He didn't protect his constituency for his own selfish votes. But then again, he in a PNM safe seat, so it don't really matter. So the one thing that I would have said might be a positive is that the pain is across the board. Nobody have water. But you know what he say? Now y'all don't laugh when y'all hear this, you know. Run it, Archie.
Residents gathered with placards in hand, saying they go days without pipe-on water. Some claimed the water they do get is unsanitary and cannot be used. Today, Minister Gonzalez explains there was more going on than meets the eye. He tells us earlier this year, between May and June, there were 2 elections and 2 village councils were elected. Minister Gonzalez says on Saturday, the first village council hosted its first Sports and Family Day, and it was successful. He notes the second village council, competing with the first one, decided to host a protest to cause a distraction to the Sports and Family Day event.
It is pure village council, internal village council rivalry that is taking place between 2 competing village council, and the second village council, comprising of about 5 or 10 persons, decided to host this protest to embarrass the Member of Parliament, because the perception is that the Member of Parliament is more friendly with this first village council.
The residents claimed that a recently constructed $1 million water treatment plant in the area has not provided any significant relief.
So people to learn it up. Those who get water see in brown water. And he say the reason the people see the brown water to protest is that it have competition between 2 village council. One have a sports day and the next one have a protest to take away from the sports day. So why the next one didn't just have a next sports day? Look, this is the man in charge of your electricity, your water, and thousands of workers, you know. Listen, when you now understand that Paula May Weeks is not about merit, Rowley is not about merit, the PNM is not about merit, they must thwart merit, they're not about scholarship, they're about bursaries, they're about means tests, they're about lick packs. The best does not float to the top in the PNM does dig down to the bottom of the barrel to find these dunces. Pakistan Council appeals to Trinidad and Tobago for flood relief. Boss, go somewhere else, eh? You feel we could help you, poor Pakistan, without flooding. We can't even help people who flood in Goodwood Park. We can't help people in Diego Martin. We can't help people who flood in Barrackport, Naparima, Princestown. We can't help them farmers who flood out in Wallafield. We can't help Trini who flood out 5 years ago. When Rowley sees storm coming to the southwest, he went northeast up into Tobago. You come to ask Trinidad and Tobago for help in flood relief. We could teach you how to flood. If you want help, call the PNM and say, hey, we had a flash flood, we were confused, we don't know. How are you also experiencing this flooding? Ask the PNM to teach you how to flood. Editorial Newsday, a hopeful step for food security. Really? Let's hear what's this hopeful step. The Caribbean Supermarket Association, launched on Tuesday, has boldly taken up the challenge of making food security for the region a practical boots-on-the-ground initiative. To do that, it must also encourage farmers to work with it collectively, right? So this Newsday editorial, hope, a concept, an idea, they write in that this is a good step, a hopeful step. But when the UNC, the People's Partnership, when I was coming to promote, localize it, an actual program with actual ideas, with actual implementation of supermarket displays, localized competitions, changing the culture, understanding, education about multiplier effect, about eating and buying local and so on. I never saw no editorial about good idea, let's go, supporting it, and Newsday. But somebody just say, hey, we're going to try to maybe do something. And check the news, say, yes man, great idea, hopeful, let's go. HDC wants quick ruling in St. Augustine Nurseries housing project case. Didn't the PNM just have a big gallery show with the president of Guyana and so on? Agriculture, agricultural expo, and we go in with agriculture, even though Rowley 4 years ago said we have no land for agriculture. It's a waste of money, waste of investment, waste of time, and he put his policy where his mouth was and starved agriculture and the Ministry of Agriculture of resources. Kamala had $1.2 billion per year. Rowley cut that down to 400 to 420 million per year, of which 375 million was for recurrent expenditure. And all you come now with mamagism to talk about a little expo on agriculture. Well, look, the real PNM policy on agriculture. They want, HDC want to build house fast on agricultural land, the land that was supposed to be there, the most fertile land in the nurseries. Why? Because swine flu man frayed the douglAR. Because that is St. Joseph. St. Joseph. And Kamala send the douglAR where? St. Joseph. St. Joseph. But let me tell you something. All you could house, but if all your people want them to build on agricultural land, all you go ahead, leave them now. Because no amount of house padding could help swine flu spreader. Duncy Convent girl, Dodo Head, who oversee 4,200 people dead. The dumbest minister of health in history. The worst MP in ever to beat the douglAR in St. Joseph. All your house pad from now till thy kingdom come. Them pad will not help you, just like it didn't help TKR make runs last night. Here the next one. Mitchell, the puss in boots. Mitchell under fire. Mitchell, you better stoop and tell him, tourism what? I'm in charge. Let me whine in a carnival fete. Let me walk and whine like, Accused of abandoning tourism sector, refuses to meet with stakeholders. His only focus seems to be carnival. And this is the Guardian, you know. This is the Guardian of PNM and PNM Rowley K-Pax, you know. Even them have to realize that Puss in Boots is a I don't even know why I'm bothered on Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots, you real notice, boy. Hey. Archie, page 6 Guardian. Archie boy. Service contract queries at Venture Credit Union. CEO and president under scrutiny. Well, not only for that, the CEO and the president of Venture Credit Union, remember? Hayden Ferreira. Remember what's going on with Foster Cummins and MTS and the contract that Venture Credit Union had no contract with MTS, but them take a check from MTS and then take it, deposit it in the Venture Credit Union account and then transfer it to the private personal account of Foster Cummins, a minister. What happened to that? Any investigation? Oh, Rowley controls that. Oh, you all control the police. Oh, the police is not independent. Oh, you thwart a merit list. Oh, they take instruction from Fitzgerald at Albert Hines. You all think it's funny, but it's good. Venture Credit Union. Actually remind them what we said about Venture Credit Union. I told all you go have questions to answer. I wonder who is the chairman of Venture Credit Union. Actually put him up there because this man, what's his name? Hayden Ferreira. Hayden Ferreira. Let me turn to you, Hayden Ferreira. This is douglAR. My name is Anil Roberts. How are you, sir? Are you the chairman of Venture Credit Union? How was it possible that Venture Credit Union received a payment from a government agency, MTS, having done no work, or Venture Credit Union is not a client, or there's no savings or any loan payments from MTS? What is Venture Credit Union doing accepting a payment for which they have no idea or concept of what, or not involved contractually in any way, sir? Secondly, one Venture Credit Union got this money. Where was it deposited, and was it deposited into the account of a now senior government official and minister? And how was that done? what would the source of funds paid? Because a senator, and I'm a senator and a former minister, is called a publicly exposed person. And we have to do many forms and fill out source of funds, especially for large amounts like $1.8 million. What were the processes that were implemented by you at Venture Credit Union to check this against money laundering, corruption, bribery, and so on? The laws of Trinidad and Tobago meant to protect the people and the taxpayers' money. Is it the normal process for Venture Credit Union to accept checks on behalf of companies and just put it into personal accounts? Is that what you would consider good banking practice? Would someone else be able to say that possibly that could be considered money laundering based on the information that we have? We need a statement from you, sir, Mr. Hayden Ferreira. Please explain. And after you explain, I think your resignation and the board resignation and all the other depositors of Venture Credit Union will await your resignation. You cannot be serious. Cannot
Leave him
be.
there, no?
Hayden Ferreira, you have some questions to answer. Cannot be serious. You have some questions and more questions to answer. Mr. Arrogant, Mr. Hayden Ferreira, you want to stay silent? Okay. As we're talking about silent, just so quietly, Niquan gets okay to restart operations. Well, let's read and see what happened. Niquan Energy has been granted full approval by the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries to resume operations. Wait. Niquan is PNM. Niquan get PNM minister's share of gas. Niquan get due diligence Alison Lewis to go on the board after she was a permanent secretary when we were in government, and she said that is dead money, that is bad investment, don't do nothing. And the government get Niquan approval and gas and a 120 million loan from Republic Bank, in which Alison Lewis on the board also. And then Niquan gone and blow up. And then now the PNM that give Niquan the opportunity to get into business and give them PNM gas, the PNM say, Niquan, you blow up as a PNM, but we clear you now to go and open back. All you get ready for blow up, eh? Archie, remind the people about this Niquan thing, you know, because they just forget. Archie, Niquan.
Current situation. GTL Niquan. That's it, watch that one. Where the girls are here, buddy. We outside. A little dangerous today, but you know God is good.
And considering the fire was on the plan a couple of weeks ago, heads rolling, you know. Night shift. Yeah, so people free to talk out. He was upset when he highlighted that. Heads roll. The fire watch lost his job, the safety man lost his job, a welder lost his job. Real heads roll.
Who's this Niquan? Niquan, please tell me. I want to know.
That was a good decision anyway. Come up on the back end.
Niquan looks to raise US 175 million. Niquan Energy Trinidad Limited, NETL, of the project plans to issue 175 million senior secured fixed rate notes due in 2031. Niquan, what is that? Tell us, is that normal? What is we producing? Fire? Is cigarette lighter we making? What it is? We want to know. With we assets on them, how much you pay of the 30 million US? How much you raise? So let me just summarize all you know. PNM clear PNM. So all you look out. Here comes the boom, all right? Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley and Stuart Smallpin Young off to Washington to participate in a series of meetings with high-ranking United States government officials, right? In a release, Rowley said he's scheduled to attend a hearing of the U.S. House of Representatives. Rowley said at a news conference at the Diplomatic Center that on Monday the hearing follows on from a 2019 trip. All you know, Rowley went quite up there to sit down in the stands and listen to the Honorable Mia Amor Motley give the contribution. Rowley went to what you could have watched on C-SPAN, boy. We are cable, boy. You could have stayed right here. But Rowley, you really gone there for that? Is it true, Rowley? You and Smallpin really just went all over? When you went away for 27 days and got stuck in the US, what happened, Rowley? When you came back, did you come back on a Cayman Airways? Did you go Cayman Islands? Where you went to talk oil and gas and energy stuff in Switzerland, Rowley? And why Smallpin just after he came back when you was out in June, and so why he digs out quietly and went Venezuela to meet with Maduro and thing, Rowley? Rowley, what you doing in Washington, Rowley? Archie was the orange thing there. Rowley Rowley, what you doing in Washington? You went to a hearing to sit down and listen to Mia Amor Motley. That's where you went? Okay, Rowley, if you say so, Rowley, I find you look good in orange. Archie, you look good. You look good in orange. That's the best I ever see Rowley look. Rowley, if you had stayed in orange, you might not get on. I have nothing more to say now. Any rate increase must be transparent, says the Sunday Express, talking about TNTech. Any rate increase. So the media done start to set all you up and carry PNM policy for them already. This is what they do. This is why you don't hit the tipping point where all you don't want to riot and get rid of the PNM. Because the media does that. So you see, they done start to lay the foundation for Rowley and him, but to come and hit all your pay increases after their incompetence, their mismanagement. You must pay for it, not the PNM. Here the Express, any rate increase must be transparent. Minister Imbert cited the case of TNTech in making the point that the country cannot afford to continue subsidizing electricity to the same extent it has been doing, while also carrying subsidies for water and fuel. Right? Really? But look what's on the last douglAR politics. Look what I told all you. They do the same thing. And we so not bright. We allow the PNM to do that. And then say, boy, I's African. I had to vote red. I's Indian. I had to vote UNC. It don't have African and Indian. It had Trinbagonian. Run it, Archie. Imbert reveals that TNTech is owing NGC 7 billion. This is the dastardly behavior of the PNM over and over. TNTech owing NGC 7 billion. Therefore, follow it, what's going to come next. You're going to have to pay increased rates because TNTech is unable to meet its debt burden. But who was in charge of not paying the debt? The PNM for 7 years did not pay their bills. They refused to pay their legitimate bills as espoused by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance. They only paid the bills where they had 210 recusals. The money only went where it could benefit their friends, family, and finances, and other bills were left unpaid. So the debt grows. And Imbert now comes and says, TNTech owing NGC 7 billion. So what will be the response of the PNM? Fire people at TNTech after they finish firing people at WASA. So the PNM creates, through irresponsible management, poor fiscal policy, poor implementation, dastardly acts, they create a problem and then come and tell you, hey, look at this problem. Let me solve it. And you know how you solve it? By fire burn all you the people. And some of you take your finger and dip it for that. You can't see, you can't read. This hater of human beings, this Dwen, this heartless scumbucket who laughed at you as he took away your fuel subsidy. Why did he take away the fuel subsidy? Because it's money going to you. That's why Kamala left it. Kamala left it because it's money going directly to you, all of you, no matter who you are, no matter how you drive, no matter if you have a car, if you're Maxi, all your products, everything that has to be transported. Kamala left it, but not this clown, because this clown needed money for the recusals. 210 recusals. Those things got priority. Are you all not seeing it? And you still want to vote for this? So TNTech, all your next set, TSTT gone, Wasa gone, Port gone, Petrotrin gone, all of them gone. TNTech, all your owing NGC 7 billion. You know what's going to happen? They're going to come and fire you all. Well, that's what the PNM has been doing. And you all just keep saying, great is the PNM, what do you want me to do? And now the Express says, however, if the government intends, the government intends to implement a price increase, it would be well advised to provide the public with a well-articulated and detailed rationale for its decision. Not stop calling, but why did you not pay the bills for NGC? Why did TNTech not pay? Why did you not pay while you were using money for recusals and other projects and building up a Prime Minister residence for 18 million in Tobago and 118 million for Paula May and 500 million for the Red House and spending money and wasting it and building overpass and all kind of nonsense? 300 million wasted and not a highway in Valencia going down. So when you were wasting 233 million at NGC to keep Atlantic Train 1, why you didn't pay your bills? Why did you let it accumulate like that to come now and present it as a crisis? But the Express says, yes, PNM, well done. We will assist you in mamagaing the population. We will assist you in hoodwinking the population. The bills were not paid, just like with Petrotrin when they came in 2015 September. They did not maintain, they did not spend money, they did not maintain the oil wells on the ground, and they let the oil production go down. They cut the maintenance expenditure in order to create a crisis, to pretend to you, to lie to you that it was the workers, and then they come and shut down Petrotrin and all went home. That's what you all tolerate. And this newspaper, these newspapers, that's what they allow them to do. And that's why we have across the country infrastructure just depleted and mash up everything never before seen. A minor project turns to a major disaster. Residents protest over slow road works in Fishing Pond in Sangre Grande, right? If you see it, then villagers cut off after Mayaro landslips all across the place. Then they come into ball. New company under Al-Rawi must investigate why roads falling apart. The roads falling apart because the PNM did not spend money to maintain the roads, maintain the drainage, make the box drains, pave and do their routine maintenance. They allow the roads to become dilapidated. That's what you need to investigate. Why? Because the PNM is incompetent. It needs no investigation. The evidence is there. Look, Zambia patches 100 holes. Why did they give Zambia the 100 million to patch holes? Look, dubbed Aranguez road fixer, dubbed Aranguez local government minister. In the last 7 years, Ramchandra Zambi Timal has repaired more than 100 potholes with his own money, cement and so on. Why they give him the money? Let him go and fix pothole. Look at this ridiculous road. This man, an old man, fall down inside. They trying to climb out of a pothole, you know. And then you have this fool, the minister of tight vest, the minister of TikTok, who trying to flex and tell all you, I did not get demoted. I love pushing puya and cleaning latrine. Faris Al-Rawi, aka Johnny Sukaran, lying to y'all and telling y'all, if anybody understands governance, Ministry of Finance, allocations, votes and so on, money is allocated to corporations or ministries in specific areas to be spent according to the law of Ministry of Finance rules. If money is allocated to certain projects, it is there to pay the contractors, whoever wins the tender, so they can pay their employees and so on. Al-Rawi did not release funds to the Chaguanas Borough and saying, but it our money money there for project. All you could move it so. It don't work so. Give the corporation all the money, including the money that was there for the workers who were duly there under their vote for goods and services and salaries. This is so disgusting. These PNM. Let me tell you, if lie had a face, it would be Balize House. And then we talking about crime. 2 dead, 3 wounded after Malik shooting. Guns are like socks and shoes. Everyone has one. Claxton Bay murder. Look at this video Archie showing you. A car will come through. Right there, look, a man sitting down outside. You see him there? 1 foot in, 1 foot out, balancing. With a Uzi. He now killed that man in that X5 right there. Look, it go stop there. That man dead. That is what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Look, citizens walking all around, going to buy bread, going to the parlor, going. Look at this in Claxton Bay now. People just rhyming, trying to drink. Man running with gun, submachine gun and 9mm. They shoot up this man here. And then the man make a mistake and ball out. And they come back in with a machine gun. This is the 9s. Hit him about 7 more there. 7 more. How much bullet one man could get? Gun done, ammunition out, and then they come in with a machine gun and hit him about 40 more. This is now outside a prison officer house. Security CCTV camera. A prison officer house. Look at the weapon this man have there with silencer, submachine gun, AR-15 with silencer, walking around, going to kill a man. This is Trinidad and Tobago. This is the land of Paula May Weeks. This is the land of Paula May Weeks and Rowley and Bliss Prasad. This is the land of breaching the Constitution. This is the land of thwarting meritless. This is the land where this madness goes on, and that woman stand up on a throne to talk to we. Gangs take over. Police admit Tunapuna now a hot spot. Look at this. The country in such a mess. Man opening and risking jail to thief gas tank. And they empty out our gas tank, that thing there, to thief gas tank. This is where we reach in Trinidad and Tobago. If it's not wire, to cut wire, it's gas tank, it's manhole cover, it's anything. Why is that? Because the PNM is great. They're doing a great job. Look at them, look at them. They're doing, wow, he's doing such a good job. He could sleep on the job. Right? Tunapuna is a hot spot. Young men renting guns for $500 to commit crime. Who is the MP up for Tunapuna? Me, I even know. What is I giving all your quiz here on douglAR Politics? Please tell me the MP for Tunapuna. Go. You have 5 seconds. None all, you know. Not even me. Hines. Inflow of guns causing spiking murders. Okay. Let's read that again. Hines, this sleepy dunce fellow, this Pomsite Rasta, this lagoon lover, this tutu water bather. Hines, inflow of guns causing spiking murders. Hines, who in charge of controlling the borders so there's no inflow of guns? Look him there. Hines, if there's an inflow of guns, who's supposed to resource and give the policies of how to get the guns that reach in, how to get them out of circulation? Look here. Hines, who's in charge for the last 7 years about the crime and safety in Trinidad and Tobago? Look him and Smallpin and Rowley there. These people are insane. And yet Paula May and she big purple curtain come to bad talk people and parliamentarians. Why she here talk directly to she friend and them? Hines not happy with law enforcement. Well, Hines, when you look in the mirror, you just be happy. Let me tell you something. I am going to show you all a video. Just replace Africa with Trinidad and Tobago, PNM, Rowley, Hines, the PNM, PNM, PNM. Just listen to this video and just think PNM, Rowley, and get ready to vote. Think PNM. Archie, play it.
Biggest cancers in electing leaders who've built nothing and then wonder why they build nothing. You've built nothing. You've created nothing. But for your words and political oratory, your ability to hold a tune and sing a verse, The ability to fill a stadium with poor people on the promise of a food hamper and a t-shirt. And then we vote for you. And we wonder why you don't know how to build roads or houses.
Every road to be built in this country has been built by the government. We better begin to be weaned off the government because the government's shoulder cannot carry the weight anymore.
Or balance a budget. Or just make sure that crime and law and order is in place. We elect clowns and give them the seat of the headmaster's office.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the facts, FAX.
Ladies and gentlemen, elections have consequences. Politics is a serious thing and affects your lives from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to sleep and while you're sleeping. We need to put all our minds together to move forward, to solve the myriad of issues that exist due to the total incompetence, corruption, and theft of the PNM. End of story. Don't do as you're trained to splinter and create division and look for excuses. Unite, get together, because our country is dying. Good night.